G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map in the color blue, playing as the Rus, it is de Muslim. Towards the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the French, it is going to be Wham01. These two gentlemen are currently battling it out in the Golden League. If you're unfamiliar with the Golden League, well, let me introduce you to it. It is the $125,000 Age of Empires 4 tournament that is happening next weekend. It is happening the weekend after. It is happening the weekend after that. It is happening every damn weekend for at least the next month or two. So make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. But it goes live every Saturday, every Sunday at 15 GMT. If you don't know when that time frame is, just type it into Google. It will tell you everything you need to know. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we are going to be having on the menu today, boys. We are indeed having a bit of an interesting game because this is a Rus versus French match. And a lot of people would say that coming into this, the Rus have been a civilization that has slowly but steadily moved up the ranks in the way that people begin to judge them. However, there are still some people... Whoa. Okay, all right. Just making sure everything's fine. There are some people that would say the French are actually better in this matchup than the Rus, and I think that's quite interesting. So some people that would say such a thing are people like Don Artie. You guys know Don Artie, a friend of the channel, never won a game on the channel, but a friend of the channel nonetheless. He is of the opinion that the Rus in this situation actually don't do that well. So we'll have to look to see exactly how de Muslim plays it, and you know, whether he's going to be going for that Guz build. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Guz build, essentially the way that it works is de Muslim's going to be looking to get Wheelbarrow in Age 1. He's going to be looking to get a Wooden Fortress on his Woodline in Age 2. He'll be making sure that he gets his double Broadaxe upgrade, and most importantly, he's going to be looking to take that boar in the middle of the map. But you've got to be careful against the French. The French are a civilization who are known for their ability to be aggressive, and Wham01 looks like he might be actually going very aggressive here. And we can tell already by the fact that he's going very heavily on gold so early. Not going for a lumber camp, not doing any sneaky, silly shenanigans at this point in time. A little bit of a micro battle down towards the west side of the map. You can see Scout's going to be outnumbering the Scouts of Wham01 here, and it looks like he's probably going to be losing all of those. All of the deer going over to the Rus player here. de Muslim going to be very happy with that. He's going to be looking to pick off this wolf as well. Look at the damage that comes out on these guys. Does he make the mistake? He made the mistake, and Wham almost picked him up on it, but never mind. So what you can do is there's a little... Look at the damage that comes out from those Scouts as well. That was pretty massive. 4 wolves coming in back. Man, de Muslim is looking absolutely A-okay right now. This is looking damn good for him. There is so much bounty coming in right now. Now, the remaining sheep, you can see, he needs to bring them in underneath the town center, otherwise these guys are going to go walking. It looks like he's going to be slowly heading towards that direction with the sheep. I think he's going to be okay. But now back around towards the back side of the base, you can see he's scouting at his enemy, seeing exactly what's up. He's going to be very happy with his bounty that he's accumulated. We do hear that Golden Gate coming down as well. 3 villagers tapping away on it. Now, the question is, how fast does the School of Cavalry from Wham go up? And we can see he's already rallying out towards the enemy base. He's not going to be rallying for the boar in the middle because he doesn't actually know about the boar's positioning just yet. And we can see he's moving out scouts in this position, but you could suspect that the fight largely is going to be over this boar. So the question is going to be whether a Wooden Fortress actually gets dropped here, or whether the Wooden Fortress just goes straight out into the middle because of the French player. So the thing is that in this matchup, the French, a civilization that is capable of significant aggression in the early game. Now, we're not seeing a huge amount of villagers on this landmark, which to me indicates, obviously, the French player, he's going to be aggressive, but he's not going to be super aggressive. He's not going to be aging up at 4 minutes and 3 seconds and getting a knight in the enemy base at 4 minutes 50. He's not going to be sitting on that boar super fast. But now in the middle of the map, we do indeed see Liquid de Muslim going for that boar. He's getting in on the action. Scout got to be careful here not to lose its life, and indeed it does not. Going to be able to heal that back up, and you can see the villagers now going to be dropping down that Wooden Fortress, so he is not messing around. There's no Wooden Fortress or Wooden Fortress either. Coming down on that back line, it is going to be all up on the front line, so very smart moves coming out from him. But now Wham01 still yet to age up, but going to be adding in that mill on his berries, so we could potentially see a professional scouts come out from him. He's got a lot of gold stacked up at the moment. It could just be a wheelbarrow play. We do sometimes see that. 4 villagers moving out. Is he going for an early outpost? I think he might be looking out for an early outpost here in the middle of the map. Wham01 looking to shift the meta already. 3 scouts moving up as well. Now, interestingly, the way that de Muslim has actually placed this down, it is covering the boar to the backside, but it's important to remember that the outpost, if it gets placed down and gets its emplacement on it, it is going to be able to outrange that. So let's see how he looks to play it, and Wham is indeed intent on doing that. You can see he's got 100 wood in the bank. Professional Scouts is coming in behind this, so no wheelbarrow going to be coming through today for him. And we've got action out the wazoo, and look at the villagers getting pulled right now. They've got pork chops in hand, 29 food ready to throw at his enemy, and that villager going to be forced back. You can see them beginning to fight. No villagers have got that extra 6 damage coming through from the sheep just yet, but we can see that on this front, it looks like he might be falling back. Liquid the Muslim definitely still unsure about exactly how he wants to play it. He's going to be dropping the hunting cabin. At the same time, the scouts just messing with the villagers of his opponent. He is so cautious about any potential outpost coming down, and now we see the outpost being placed in the stealth forest. He's looking to try and take control of this area. Keep in mind that we don't have... Actually, we've got the arrow slits that have come up right now for Liquid the Muslim. So he's managed to get it up in time. Liquid the Muslim manages to keep himself above, or head above water at this point, denies a lot of the harassment that was going to come out to him. And just the fact that he was able to get that up, such a smart move. So how did he do that? You might be wondering. It looks like he actually used the Golden Gate. He bought a little bit of stone and researches the emplacements, and that's going to be able to deny any potential outpost. The only way that an emplacement or an outpost could get up from here would be if an outpost went down over on this side of the wood line without his enemy knowing, or without the Muslim noticing, and then all of a sudden had line of sight over on this side as well. That would be the only real way to deny this. So let's look to see how he plays it and whether he does that. But Wham now going to be moving out with a knight towards his enemy's base. At the same time, we do see more scouts coming into production, and Wham looking good so far. At the same time, Scout heading towards the gold mine. They say, hey, get out of there. Stop gathering gold. We don't like you gathering gold around these parts. Now, unfortunately for Wham, he's going to be suffering at quite a bit of an issue here, because he's only got a single scout back at home, and he's done a good job, Muslim has, of denying out that gold. But now we do see Wham going to be looking to push in towards Muslim's base. Very well protected, and almost with impeccable timing coming out from Muslim here. Look at this. Wooden fortress coming up here on the wood line. Now, keep in mind, there's 12 villagers out here. Only 8 are going to be able to fit inside that wooden fortress, but now Muslim will spot that knight to the north of his base. If he is careful, if he was careful, if he saw it, if he was looking for it. But keep in mind, guys, that this is part of the Golden League, and we are in the... I believe we're in the lower brackets right now, so it means that the loser of this series will be getting knocked out of the wazoo. That'll be it. They'll be out of the ballpark. They'll be out of it completely. Arrow Slit's also coming back in at the wooden fortress at home. It's so cheap for him to do it. He says, you know what? I'm not going to bother. I'll just get it. And now we got a barracks coming down here as well for Muslim. So he's quite intent on, I would almost say, going up to the castle age with this much resources behind him. But Knight's now coming out for his opponent, looking to defend against those onslaughting scouts. But Professional Scouts has now been picked up for our French player. Wham going to be bringing in all those deer carcasses, opting for the closer, or the secondary position. Actually, did he? That's 5 on that one. How many have we got out over here? Has he stolen away? I think he's stolen away a couple deer from his enemy. Indeed he has. He's taken 3 from the enemy side. He's taken 2 from his own side. And now going to be working up towards his enemy's secondary deer patch. So very smart move denying this from the Rus player. I think this is quite an interesting way to play against the Rus, because the Rus player is going to be heavily invested in this boar in the late game, or in the early game. And when they move and they begin transitioning, they're going to be looking towards those hunts. And if there's less resources for them to grab, or in fact no resources at all, it's going to help out a huge amount for the French player. So I think it's a very smart move in this situation to be doing it, because normally you would expect to see the Rus player go for Professional Scouts, but typically they fall back towards them instead after they go for that boar. Looks like, is that a villager idol? That is a villager idol? No, it's not a villager idol. I'm just a little bit blind there. But Wham going to be thinking about adding in some archers, I would suspect. No, he's just going to be going for double stables. Now going to be adding in the archers. Okay, there we are. I was a bit curious. All of a sudden, I'm like, hold on, where are all your archery ranges? You've got a whole bunch of wood that you're stacking up. Let's take a look at the upgrades that he's got. So he's also gone for survival techniques. So here you see it coming out. So this is interesting, because survival techniques doesn't actually assist in the carrying capacity for the hunted meat anymore. And that used to be why it was very strong, because it enabled a bit more efficiency with regard to the way that your hunting worked. And look at now, we can see the knights moving around the base of his enemy. But yeah, it offered a lot more efficiency, but now it just offers gathering speed. So realistically, it means that you've got 15 villagers on deer. Now all of a sudden, you've got the equivalent of, 18, 19 villagers on deer, that sort of thing. So it's a nice little way to improve your gather rate. But now we see the Abbey of Trinity coming, or Abbey of the Trinity rather, coming through for our Rus player. And it looks like down towards the south, he's still sitting on that boar. I'd love to find out exactly how much meat is on that carcass, but now, at the same time, Liquid the Muslim going to be getting caught somewhat trying to intercept the scouts. Scout's going to be able to make it away. The Knight's going to be chasing them away. Wham doing his best. And now we are in a bit of an interesting phase because our Rus player hasn't gone for what he expected, or what Wham would have expected. Wham would have expected the Guz build. So for anybody unfamiliar with the Guz build, we talked about that a little bit earlier. That is where you go for the wood upgrade. That is where you grab the early wheelbarrow. That is where you focus on making a lot of archers. But it doesn't seem like Wham has gone, or that Demuslim has gone for that. Instead, going to be just going for a standard fast castle build and going straight into spearmen. Not even going for men at arms, and going to be going horse archer. An interesting composition, something I don't think I've ever seen out of a Rus player. Spearmen and horse archers. So we'll have to see how it works now, because we've got multiple knights beginning to move in from the eastern flank. Scouts going to be coming out, looking to try and tank up a little bit of the damage. Indeed they do. Villagers going to be falling back, not a single hit on them, and spears going to be coming out now. Got to be careful not to extend too far with your spears, mate. Careful of those spears. The spear's going to be going down. First one losing its life. I don't think he's got the upgrade. In fact, he does have the hardened upgrade, but yet to get the veteran upgrade. Now falling back into that stealth forest, and he's gone like the wind. Boar in the middle of the map has been exhausted, and now he heads back towards his base, and the issue is going to be food. And we can see the issue is definitely food right now, because Demuslim is all out of food. Now, in this situation, Demuslim would love to be moving towards his hunts, but it's going to be so hard against the French because there's so many knights out on the field. 3 of these bad boys up here, 3 deer up in this position, and now knights over on the western flank. Going to be looking to chase down this warrior monk. We didn't hear a Wololo coming off. It looks like the second warrior monk going to be coming out as well. It's going to have scouts in amongst it as well, but at the same time he's trying his best to actually take this out, doing a lot of damage, and going to try and delay the amount of work that his enemy's going to have to do. But now that relic does go down, so being very greedy there. He could have just dropped the relic and then just gone back in towards the town center. It would have been fine. So a little bit of a mistake coming out from Demuslim, and now archers coming out as well. Wham looking to apply pressure. He is all over this map. He's taking control of all of the hunts. He does lose out at fair few with the relics, and Demuslim going to be very thankful that they remain on the map. But now we can see that Demuslim, his opponent, is going to be intent on staying in this second age. A lot of units continuing to come out from him. 10 villagers on gold, though. So the question is he thinking about going up to that castle age himself? Is he looking to play it a little bit longer in feudal? Is he going to continue building that mass? He's done a great job of securing his hunts, and the question is whether he's going to be able to get anything further out of feudal, or whether it's just best that he moves on to the next age. And you can see once again evacuating the final remaining deer from this position. It looks like there might be one left. There's one deer carcass left, and he's left it right next to the stealth forest. You got to wonder if this is actually a very smart play by Wham. And let me explain what I mean by that, because some people might not realize this. So let me dive in a little bit to the way that I'm thinking with regard to this meta. Demuslim looks on his minimap and he sees this icon. To him, this indicates that there is a deer patch that is present. Now, that doesn't indicate that there are 7 deer there. It just indicates that there could be one, or that there is one deer there that hasn't been touched. The issue is that there's only one deer there, and so he may look to try and find those deer. And he's going to be spending time on it, whereas his opponent has taken away 6 of the deer, but just by leaving that one deer, it still keeps that icon on his minimap, and it's still telling him, hey, there's deer over here. Come on, friend. Come have some deer. But there's really no deer there, because you can actually see that the scout did have enough space for it. Maybe it was just that he couldn't find it. It is right next to a stealth forest. It can be very difficult finding these last carcasses. But now we see Demuslim beginning to move out. Wham going to be trying to intercept, and you can see on the front side we've got a whole bunch of scouts that are looking to get in on the mix. At the same time, the archers going to be coming out. No veteran upgrades just yet at this point. Now archers for Wham kind of getting a little bit lost in the stealth forest. Beautiful micro coming out from Demuslim. He's doing a great job of keeping those knights at bay. At the same time, horse archers now going to be opened up all of a sudden, and Wham going to be doing a great job of microing out those spears. At the same time, the Wololo going to be looked at potentially being picked up, and now going to be just beelined, does indeed drop the relic. So finally Demuslim realizing, hey, wait a minute, I can just drop the relic and I'm fine to get out of there. Indeed you are, Demuslim. And now we continue to see the action beginning to unfold. Wham is up to that next stage. 18 villagers going to be dropping down that landmark. He goes to the guild hall. Decarbonization immediately researches, and knights now coming down onto the forefront. We'll take a look at exactly how much damage Demuslim's going to be receiving here, because he's now going into crossbows, and definitely seems like a wiser move. The horse archers is an interesting theory. I've not actually seen the horse archers work that well in the most recent patch, so I'm curious to see how it unfolds. But Wham looking to extend his longevity, looking to play it a little bit into the late game, and we'll check and see what the guild hall is on. It's going to be on food, at least for the moment here, and now he continues to apply pressure towards the front. Archer's doing a great job. Upgrades are coming through. It's going to be the veteran Royal Knights. And Muslim is going to be under significant pressure here. We'll have a look over on the opposite side of the map and see how he's doing. And a second town center is coming up for him. So both players intent on playing into the late game. And the thing that really triggers me, or that tells me that this is going to be a late game battle, obviously the town center here, but these walls, it might not seem like much with these walls, but I tell you, these walls, they mean business. That means that a man is scared of a raid and he wants to preserve his economy. He wants to think about the later stages of the game. So this game, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, grab yourself a cool beverage because it is about to get heavy. Now up towards the north, the Muslims hunt has completely run in, or run out rather. And interesting to note that I don't think Wham has realized there is still a few deer carcasses that litter the map. He's managed to take out the deers that were over, or the patch that was over here, and now more knights beginning to move around. Scout's also going to be moving out into the middle of the map. He'll be scouting out exactly what his enemy is up to. 4 scouts looking to try and make amends over on that western side, apologizing for the deer that they failed to collect, and now a scout over on the eastern front also going to be scouting out just that flank, just making sure there's no potential raids that come through. And we do see Wham beginning to take stone. This could mean one of two things. Do we see a town center? Do we see a potential castle coming out for him in the center of the map? We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. Where's the next boar? There is a second boar somewhere on this map, and I don't actually know where it is. I would suspect it would be over on this side somewhere. There it is. It's been killed. It has been slaughtered. Wham has killed the boar. Or maybe it was, yeah, I think it might have been Muslim that actually killed the boar. Yeah, Muslim now going to be under attack towards that front, losing a lot of horse archers there. We see that veteran archer still not through yet for Wham-01. He's getting balanced projectiles, so going for +2 attack, but still no veteran archers. A very curious decision. A bit of a raid coming back towards the town center. He's going to scout the second town center in this position as well. Wham got line of sight of it. You can see his scouts providing so much of that line of sight, spying out everything that's in the base. We see all 5 relics being picked up right here by Muslim as well. Siege Workshop going to be going down now. And he is going to be falling back from this base. At the same time, multiple units beginning to move in. We'll enter into the cinematic mode because villagers have been picked off. Men-at-Arms going to be coming out, and he's going to have to fall back from this position if he wants to keep himself alive. And now we've got ourselves a little bit of a trouble because over towards the eastern side of the map, there are a lot of villagers. I'm not sure if Wham has realized this, but Muslim knows he needs to fight. He needs to force his opponent's hand right now because if he doesn't, those villagers will potentially lose their lives. At the same time, the cavalry is going to continue hiding away from those spears. He's going to try and take a battle, and indeed he does. But now, all of a sudden, the horse archer mass is continuing to build. He's focusing down all of those knights. He's going to continue microing back. Crossbow is going to be taking a lot of damage, unfortunately losing their lives. And I love the way that the warrior monks are in here just beefing out a bit of damage, and it looks like Muslim is actually stabilizing himself. He's got to be careful not to lose any villagers to these archers, and now indeed that looks like what is going to be the scenario here. He's got to be careful not to lose them, and he heads them back towards that outpost, but at the same time the mass has dwindled so significantly for Wham that Muslim is in a very strong position now because he's got 2 town centers up, he's got his siege workshop up, and it is time for him to begin work on that dream composition for the Rus. We'll take a look at his line of sight. You can see that he's slowly extending across the map. Still yet to grab up those sacred sites, but now going to be focusing on that. He's moving out to the 3rd sacred site towards the south. There's plenty of scouting information coming through from Wham at this point as well. You can see he's scouting up towards the north, out towards the west here, and he has not yet dropped down a second town center, it seems. Going to be going instead for a keep. You can see him dropping down the archery ranges on the front line. Could be looking to drop a keep down and get that discount. Keep in mind, the French get a beautiful civilization discount, which enables them to have cheaper archers as well as cheaper horsemen, or I guess we'll just say cavalry units. Probably an easier way. Now, interesting question for you guys. Does the French bonus also affect hand cannoneers? Let's find out. Who knows? We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. I suspect it probably would, though. And if that's the case, they're kind of busted when you think about it. Like, think about it. Like, sure, the French don't really have anything going for them late game, but that is a pretty big bonus. You could have production out the wazoo going for you. But now Wham is going to be looking to drop down a keep somewhere, and indeed it's going to be on the large gold mine, so looking to try and take control of these large gold veins. Not going to be going for the smaller ones first, going to be going for the big one, and with that he'll take map control. And this is a smart move. For anybody watching this on YouTube or in Twitch at the moment, I want to remind you guys, it's incredibly important to look to try and take the map control. Okay, so at any point in the game, you want to be taking control of the map, and we see that Wham is doing that through multiple ways, whether it be through his scouts, he's having control of the map, or at least exerting some sort of knowledge about the map. You can see Muslim's done the same thing, and you ideally want to take it early as possible, and Wham is going to be doing that with a keep. By putting this keep down, not only does he protect this gold, but he establishes himself as the supreme leader in this area of the map. Now, that might be, you might be scratching your head and going, oh, Drongo, it's not that important. Well, keep in mind, if he does ever lose this position, he's going to be able to fall back onto safer golds. And that's a really smart way because he has scouted out these golds. He knows that these golds exist. And so by taking this gold first, it is something that gives him both safety for his villagers because there's a keep nearby, You can see he's brought out just enough to fit inside this keep. In fact, he's brought out one extra, but we'll forgive him. So he's going to be able to take this gold. This is going to be a very safe source of gold for him. It gives him that map control. So a little bit of a lesson back for anybody watching, you know, at home. Don't be afraid to head out onto the map with your villagers. Drop down that keep. Look to try and take those golds. But still, we've got those veteran archers now coming out for Wham as well. Horse archers beginning to mass for Muslim, but it looks like the numbers are dwindling for him. He hasn't really added anything to his mass at this point. He is still training horse archers, though, interestingly. So still adding in horse archers behind here. Was looking for a raid. Did manage to find a couple of villagers here. But now going to continue moving towards the north. And players slowly but steadily going to be walling up the flanks of their bases. Now, interestingly, we don't yet see Muslim beginning to move out. But he does have 12 villagers on stone. So maybe intent on dropping down that keep. He's still got one ticket in the bank here. Still hasn't really mined a lot of gold. So keeping a lot of his gold precious at the back of his base. 4,000 gold back there. Where's the secondary gold? Has he mined it all out? Or is don't tell me that's the first gold. No, this is it. He hasn't even touched gold yet. Like, unironically, he hasn't even touched gold yet. Doesn't need to. He's got his double monastery, or he's got his 5 relics out. He's got his sacred sites captured, or at least he's got one of them captured. But now, Wham begins to move towards the east of the map. Going to be looking to neutralize, decap this sacred site. And everything is starting to look all good right now for Wham. And so I think the question is, at this point, you know, who's in the favorable position here? And I think that's an interesting question, because it feels like Wham is doing very well, but at the same time, he is playing French, and you know, French typically are a civilization that is going to be considered not to be the best in the late game. So, I mean, we did see Muslim. We did see, I think it was it Marine Lord or Beastie? We saw Beastie Cutie do very well with the French yesterday. So whether we see the same thing come out of Wham here, who knows? Who knows? But one of the things to note is that there is always those enlistment incentives. So here we can see enlistment incentives is going to provide that French influence a further 5%. And so for anybody wondering what that is archery ranges and stables within influence have unit costs decreased by 25%. That is massive. Imagine that. It's a plus 25% bonus to your economy, essentially. That is massive. That is huge. But now we see that Wham going to be getting pushed on here. It looks like his opponent, the Muslim, has built up a pretty significant mass of siege behind this. 3 Springalds, 2 Mangonels. Going to be more than enough to really dish out some damage on this front line. The gold mine going to be looking to get idled up. There are 5 villagers that appear to be inside it. Now going to be looking to repair that outpost. We'll see if he jumps them inside. Indeed, he jumps them inside as soon as they get repaired. It looks like majority of them are going to be going down. And now at the same time, a bit of a raid back in the base of Muslim. Muslim going to be under attack as Wham is looking to completely onslaught his villagers. Spear's going to be here to look and pick up the mess. But there is a lot of farms up here that are being caught. And now it seems like Muslim going to be falling back from this position as well as that keep going up. Just with 4 villagers, and you got to admire the guy. This is pure confidence that he is exuding right now. If you're so confident to put up a keep in the middle of the map with 4 villagers, like you could basically do anything. I genuinely feel that way. Like this is such a ballsy move. You have to be very confident that you're going to be able to protect those villagers. But now, Wham, looking to go up to the 4th age. And is that a College of Artillery we are seeing? Wow, it's been some time since we have seen this bad boy coming out. The College of Artillery coming out for Wham. He's going to be going into Culverin, and a very smart move against the Rus. Rus, typically a civilization known for their powerful siege in the late game. The Wham 01 going to be looking to counter it with some potential Royal Culverin. But now, it seems that the raid is going to get picked up, and we can see that Muslim is slowly but steadily walling up the rest of his base. Those units did make it behind the walls, but it isn't going to be the case today as those walls continue to build up. There's only really one way into the base of Muslim, and it's through the front door. I say through the front door, but the front door is kind of wide open at this point in time. So we'll have to see how he works to repair that front door and heal it up and potentially expand it. But now we see Wham has reached that Imperial Age. Do we have Culverin coming out? Indeed we do. It is the Royal Culverin coming out for Wham 01. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been some time since we've seen a Royal Culverin, a Royal Bombard, but it is now time to celebrate, to get excited, because we've got a bit of a fast Imperial coming out from Wham here, and he's looking to counter the siege push that's come out from his opponent. And I think up until this point, everybody would have been a bit curious, you know, Wham, how are you going to deal with this inevitable push that is crunching the majority of your base? You've lost an outpost, you've lost a mining camp, you're now beginning to lose your archery ranges on the front line. How possibly are you going to stop this push? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here it comes. It is the Royal Culverin, and it is going to be teeing off towards that enemy siege. Keep in mind, this Royal Culverin has got an extra bit of damage, which is going to help out so much more against any other unit. So you can see it does a total here of 309 106 damage versus Siege. That means that it's going to be one-shotting Mangonels. That means it's going to be one-shotting Springles. It is going to be one-shotting absolutely everything, baby. It is a Royal... Where did it go? Royal Culverin moving out onto the front line. Going to be teeing off. Look out, Wham. Here he goes. Wham actually got to be careful here. Culverin might be a bit out of position. You can see the Mangonels moving into the mass. Oh, no, Wham. Oh, no, Wham. Oh, no, Wham. Wham almost losing a huge mass of his infantry. Instead, only losing what appears to be about 14 or 15 units instead. Now the Mangonels continuing to fire off at the infrastructure of his opponent. At the same time, the villagers have been pulled. I feel like he's pulled a little bit too many villagers here in this situation. Slowly, that Culverin going to be firing out and taking all of the siege out. But there are plenty of villagers here that need to begin healing up the second Culverin out. Mangonel's going to begin unfolding at the same time. Watch out, Wham! Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to be looking for some times to say that, but I suspect it's going to be when Wham wins. And now, at the same time, Culverin going to be turning its attention towards the infantry, not the right spot. And slowly but steadily, is taking out all of the siege of his opponent. Look out, villagers, look out! And we can see the Culverin just holding throughout this entire push, managing to take out the entire siege army of his opponent. Both of the Culverin remain steadfast, and Wham holds with his elite archer mass continuing to prevail. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It is indeed time that we brought that one out. So well played right there from Wham. He is looking incredible. What a damn hold from Wham. The Culverin MVP actually comes out incredibly strong. And what a game plan from Wham. When you come into this game, you're thinking about the late game, you're thinking about the early game, but you're thinking, what am I going to do with that siege ball? What am I going to do? What am I going to do with that siege ball when it comes pushing in? Well, Wham thought about it. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fast Imperial. I'm going to make Culverin, and I'm going to freaking destroy it. And that's exactly what he did. So well played to Wham. Great foresight in having just the archer mass here to help defend it, because his opponent would have been thinking, you know, Demuslim would have been like, all right, well, that's fine. I've got Mangonels to deal with the archers. I'm not fussed about them. Well, no, you don't have Mangonels, mate, because they're all dead because the Culverin do so much damn work. So there you see, the Culverin are the MVP, at least crowned the MVP until this point in the game. But now we see Keep going to be under stress as the counterweight trebuchets begin to shell down his opponent. And the castle that he has got, that a counterweight trebuchet isn't going to be much of a mass, or much of an opponent for the Culverin that will inevitably be coming out and looking to deal some damage. But now Demuslim going to be reaching that Imperial Age himself, beginning to add in more siege workshops around the high armory. You can see he's got 3 in here already. A beautiful area of effect, going to be applying a wonderful reduction in cost to these nearby siege workshops, or the units that the siege needs. Oh my god. It provides a reduction in cost to the units produced by the siege workshops that are immediately in the vicinity of the landmark. There you guys go. And now from the stealth forest, Wham, hunting like a leopard. He hunts from the stealth forest and takes out both of those counterweight trebuchets. I wish I could have checked the health pool on those bad boys. I'm pretty confident the health pool was like 400. So he's going to two-shot them always. But now we see the Bombard beginning to do some damage, and Wham looking incredibly strong. Who said that the French late game was terrible? Who was it? Tell me who it was. Point them to me, fellas. I will deal with them, because it looks like Wham is absolutely taking his opponent to school right now. He's in a delicious position, incredible position. Wham looking absolutely marvelous, and now beginning to wall up the rest of the map, trying to just control the narrative a bit. And what do we got here? The Guildhall. He looks like he might have cashed out a bit. He's on 680, and he's on gold now. So he's going to be turning his attention towards that. But we'll take a look at the income per minute. I know you fellas love to see it, and you can see Demuslim is ahead by a mile in pretty much every single metric. I take it back. He's ahead by a mile in every single metric. Ahead by 800 resources in food. Ahead by 400 resources in wood. Ahead by 500 resources a minute in gold. And ahead by 50 in stone. That is the real one you got to watch out for. But Demuslim will do a bit of a stock take. 109 villagers compared to 91 of Wham. So why is the difference so significant? Why is it that Demuslim's economy is popping off like crazy, whereas Wham not so much? Is it because of the upgrades? He's got the wheelbarrow, he's got horticulture. What has he got in the way of wood upgrades? He's got double broadaxe, no lumber preservation coming in just yet. I don't think he's actually gathering. Oh, he is gathering gold. I do take it back. No specialized pick coming through for him. So I guess I'm scratching my head wondering, where is all this economy coming from Demuslim? I guess it's got to also be considered the fact that he's got those relics as well that are going to be trickling in gold for him, but no sacred sites being taken up by Wham just yet. But he is looking to stonewall the positions, and I'm glad I told you guys at 40 minutes to go get yourselves a beverage. As soon as we saw that second town center, as soon as I saw that wall, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a late game. This is going to be a late game one. Settle in, fellas. Like, you guys are going to need to get something to drink. But now Wham looking to try and take control of the middle, taking control of the map that his opponent once looked to secure. But now he finds out the hard way that there is a keep in a position that he did not expect. And those walls are going to be denied. Knights in the middle of the map. Only veteran, but Bombards, or rather Culverin here, going to be doing some damage. Bombards at the same time. A little bit exposed, and now looking out for those Springalds. Springalds going to be unfolding upon the Bombards. Both of them going down. Springalds doing a great job there. 12.5 range on them. Now, keep in mind, the new Springalds have been nerfed. The Rus Springalds have been nerfed. They used to have an upgrade. Well, in fact, you know what? They've still got the upgrade. Banded Arms. It appears right here. Combined with roller shutter triggers, used to give you a range. Roller shutter triggers used to appear right here. Used to give you a range of 13.5. But in the most recent patch, it was dropped down from 13.5 to 12.5. And as a result, you can see here that the Springalds for Muslim have got a slightly larger range than the Culverin of Wham. The Culverin of Wham only having 12 range. So it means that they're going to have a little bit of a chance to shoot their shot. But before, the chance to shoot their shot was massive. It was huge. The window that they had was enormous. You could have fit a Boeing 747 through it. But now the window has closed significantly. Now the difference is not so much. And it means Culverin, as a result, are stronger, and Wham, as a player, is much more inclined to be going for that Royal Institute of Artillery. Actually, I take it back. It's the College of Artillery. I was close, though, right? I was close. He looks to go for that College of Artillery and try to get those Culverin out because it now is an actual viable option for him. But now beginning to move up. Still we see Wham yet to drop down a mining camp on that position. Culverin continuing to push up as well. Muslim going to be looking out for those Culverin. He's going to be careful. He needs to fall back from this position. Indeed he does. He's going to be able to, if he's smart, he would have all of these control groups. So how would you control group these, for anybody wondering? Control 1, Control 2, and Control 3. That is how you would be doing it. And then all of your army would be like Control 4. Like that is how you'd be doing it. And in this position, you could fall back and you would make sure, because each Culverin that you've got is going to be able to take out a single Springald. So you would go 1, 2, 3, like that, and you would take out 3 Springalds, and you'd probably lose 1. Actually, you would definitely lose 1. That is a lot of damage that would be coming in from your opponent. So, I mean, it's definitely a trade-off, but at the same time, that is an interesting way to play it. But now, Muslim continuing to build up a decent mass here. He's up to 475 bounty. Not going to be able to find that unfortunate 500 one. I guess that's where his economy is also coming from. The fact that he's got those ticking towards him. But now, Castle Watch has completed. I feel like that's... Welcome to another episode of Castle Watch. 6 tiles. That is a huge amount of line of sight. Let's have a look how much it extends out here. Holy jeez Louise, that is extensive. Wow, they mean serious business when they're talking about Castle Watch, aren't they? Springalds now looking to try and take out the Royal Knights. Royal Knights just having so much armor as well. Up to 6 armor at this stage in the game, and Wham looking to get more upgrades. You can see him getting wedge rivets. I was going to say wedge rivets. And boiling oil as well going to be coming in for him. No incentive enlistments just yet. I don't know whether you're really incentivized to go for this. 5% doesn't seem like a lot. You know, what's the difference between 25 and 5%? It's surely not too much. 112, it probably goes down to what? 108? Maybe? I don't even know. I don't even know what the math is. I'd have to double check that. I don't know. I just feel like it's probably not that good. Royal Bloodline's now coming through for our French player as well. He is looking to go heavy on his cavalry composition. But so far in this series, we are seeing a lot of action, a lot of compositions that are coming out that are quite interesting. I love this composition coming out from our English player. This is a composition that you see in Age 2. Royal Knights and Archers. This is a composition that you see in Age 3. And of course, in Age 4, you also see the same composition. We will expect throughout the game that hand cannon is going to be replacing those archers eventually. But the question is going to be whether he can make them at an affordable cost. Keeps coming up on both sides of the map here for these larger golds. Not going to be too much of an issue to get taken out. As you can see, the Bombard already coming out from Muslim into this position. Going to be unfolding, and now at the same time in the middle of the map, Culverin going to be looking to battle it out. Culverin teeing off towards their opponents, and you can see just how well Wham is microed. So picking off 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Go Wham, do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do it, Wham. We believe. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And he takes out every single Springal. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it, and that is the difference now. Culverins are back, baby, and they are stronger than ever. And now all of a sudden I'm asking, was the Rus nerfed too much? Like, that was ridiculous. You just see, like, Wham, I think Wham lost 1, 2 Culverin maybe. And to be fair, that's a lot of Culverin that he's got. He's got 5 Culverin, but at the same time, like, that is a pretty impressive victory coming out there from Wham. But now we begin to see the slowing of the meta. Siege plus walls. It is a story that has riddled the Golden League at this point, at least this weekend of the Golden League. Siege plus walls. And slowly and steadily, we see the map beginning to fill with siege, beginning to fill with walls, and now Knights beginning to move in on these Mangonels. I don't think Muslim was really paying attention. There's Streltsy on the back line going to be able to unfold, but all the Mangonels probably going to be going down here. These Royal Knights very happy to commit to this. A big, massive siege. Take the Bombard, my friend. It's there for free. feel free to take it out, but instead just opting for the mangonels are now going to be behind enemy lines, looking to try and fall back. Instead, going to be... You do not want to go that way. You do not want to go that way, my friend. But Bombard did get taken out. There were some Springalds down here that were ready and willing to fire upon them. But now we can see that we enter into a bit of a lull in this game, because players are setting themselves up for the late game. We can see that 8,700 food is currently held for Demuslim. At the same time, Wham sitting on 3,000 food. He's not too fast and now going to be heading down towards this position. Do not be alarmed by the blue that you see on the mini-map. Gosh, I couldn't get the word out. Do not be alarmed by the blue that you see on the mini-map. It is not yet built, but slowly and steadily, these villagers are going to be starting to head back towards their enemies, or towards their base, rather. And now we see a potential battle beginning to unfold. Demuslim now looking to aggress. I was going to say digress. From this position, you can see the archers as well as the hand cannoneers coming out, but keep in mind there are Streltsy coming out from his opponent. So we'll have to see how he looks to play it. Sacred sites were captured towards the center of the map. No sacred site yet to capture towards the edge of the map. I don't even think we've seen a monastery up yet from Wham. We'd have to double check that. There's a university, but that ain't a monastery, my friends. No incendiary arrows coming out from Wham yet either. So really looking to avoid getting himself into that mess. But interestingly, he is going for trade. A very, very early trade. Putting the traders... Actually, no, he's put the traders on the right side. I'm assuming he's got everything worked out. Streltsy now going to be under attack. You can see the elite archers pushing up, going to be doing some damage. Streltsy going to be trying to run away as fast as they can. Mangonels lying in wait. Demuslim does have vision on them. Demuslim going to be unfiring. Oh no! Mangonels. We can see a nice little dodge coming out there already. Now at the same time, the archer's going to be falling back towards the spearmen. You can see there's a pretty big mass now of units that are beginning to build up for our Rus player. At the same time, those Mangonels looking to try and unfold. They're struggling as the units continue being kited backwards. Multiple keeps going up. We see a keep going up over here on the large gold mine. A keep in response going to be coming out from our French player. And at the same time, he gets pushed between the walls of the edge of the map. And at the same time, the walls of his opponent that don't yet exist, and slowly but steadily the units have begun to dwindle, and all the villagers go down. All the villagers go down to the mangonel shot. That was a huge amount of villagers that do go down, and now a run by also going to be happening. That keep is going to be destroyed. More Culverin going to be moving up into this position, but keep in mind they are immobile. They are difficult to deal with, and now all of these units are going to be getting cleaned up, and Wham looking to try and take control of this battle, but at the same time he is beginning to struggle. They're going to be able to take out all of the siege from his opponent. Mangonel is going to be firing down upon them, but at what cost is the question, as we do see that bombard underneath the sacred site sign indeed does go down. But now in the middle of the map, it looks like Springald's going to get taken out by the Royal Knights. These guys are fully upgraded Royal Knights. I say fully upgraded. They're still missing a couple of upgrades, but they've got their royal bloodlines. And now we begin to see everything turn into a fiesta as players begin flooding the map with units in every single direction. We got crossbows killing mining camps. We got Royal Knights killing bombards. We got trebuchets killing Royal Knights. We've got boars over on the east side of the map that are just dead, lying dead. Oh, it's terrible, terrible damage. He's been skinned, and he just sits there, still with his 2,000 food, rotting for 37 errors. But now the massive siege continues to build up for Demuslim. He's looking incredibly strong at this point in the game. And for anybody wondering, why is Demuslim siege looking so strong? Well, keep in mind, he's not paying a premium for it. He's paying a 20% discount on his siege. That is the number one. He's also got a whole bunch of upgrades, and the other thing is he's got gold trickling into him for free. So he's sitting on about 1,100 gold a minute at the moment. You can see he's got villagers back here on the gold vein. He's begun fighting for the gold vein at this forward position, but still we see now Wham going to be finally accessing the safe gold. Looks like he hasn't actually taken out, and this is what I was talking about earlier in the game. This is why you go for those front golds. That's why you go for those big golds, because when the late game inevitably happens, it means you're going to be A-okay because you have got these golds to fall back on. But Wham, not even skipping a beat, immediately moving on to traders. And keep in mind, these are French traders, so he is working with the bonus. He can get to choose exact... Has he not picked his secondary resource? Wham, you got to pick your secondary resource. What are you doing, you silly dill? Very interesting from Wham. I think in this situation that you have to pick your secondary resource as French, because otherwise it just doesn't give it to you. I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to see how he looks to play it, but now we can see he's continuing to struggle with just the amount of markets that he's got there, but he is definitely investing heavily into those traders. You can see he's got so many in queue at the moment. Incendiary arrow is going to be coming through for him. At the same time, Trebuchet is firing off upon those Springalds. Royal Knights moving forward, and now the Trebuchet going to be looking to unfold upon the houses of his opponent. Indeed, those houses do go down. Royal Knights looking strong, but at the same time get countered effectively by those spearmen, as well as those Streltsy that sit behind. Where are those Streltsy? They should be in here somewhere. There they are, 12 Streltsy. Difficult to see. They kind of look like spears, and now we've got Wham building walls on the front line. despite his enemy having very clear vision of his villagers behind what appears to be just a 5 centimeter wall. Bombard now going to be coming out. We see the trebuchets beginning to unfold upon the spears. Wall does go down. Now, I guess this leads me to ask the question. I feel like once a wall goes down, like if this segment goes down, this segment should be killed, this segment should be killed, and you know what? Let's kill this segment as well. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of all of them. Take them all down. But now, Wham going to be trying to hold on with this very interesting wall. And this is such an interesting wall because there is no purpose to this wall other than to cause issue to his opponent right now. You can see now he's slowly beginning to wall up over to the eastern flank as well. But what do I mean by that, causing issue to his opponent? Well, this wall had a very clear, a clear intent. This wall was intentionally placed so that his opponent would not be able to raid him onto that flank. Whereas this wall was intentionally placed just to fuck with the enemy's army. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't think that is healthy to witness that happen. And now we watch the wall get destroyed, and almost immediately you're going to see it be getting rebuilt. So do we have to have a discussion about walls? I feel like we do. I really start to feel like we do. And now Trebuchet's going to be flanked because all of a sudden the wall wasn't closed. And now the crossbowmen going to be looking to do some damage here. Archers at the same time teeing off towards him. You can see they got 13 damage on those bad boys. But Wall continuing to struggle to go up at the same time. He's doing everything he can to delay, but now Muslim all of a sudden is going to be shifting the attention towards his base. Unfortunately, as he continues to suffer, more and more units beginning to run through. We can see the Springwood emplacement is going to be doing work over in that position. Bombards at the same time have managed to open a hole in that wall, and that wall is no longer going to be serving any issue here. Muslim has managed to find a way through this wall, and Wham is going to be in a difficult position. So the question was, the Culverin worth it? Who knows the answer to that question? Because Wham is really starting to struggle now, and now we start to see the French late game beginning to fall apart. Where's the guild hall? Where the guild at? The question of the day, where the guild at? And there is the guild hall. 8,000 gold sitting in that guild hall, and completely untouched by Wham. He is sitting here struggling to make ends meet. He's got 133 population. He's got 8,000 gold in that guild hall. He is saving it up for a rainy day, but I feel like the rainy day has come. I feel like at this point, my friend Wham, you are being flooded, and it is time to call that emergency relief button that you've got ready to go for that rainy day. And now we see Muslim also beginning to do trade on his own side. So really starting to go ham with the trade. You can see he's picking up 118 gold off these bad boys. And look at the emplacements coming out from Muslim. He is playing into the late game. This is how you play the late game, ladies and gentlemen. You make these wooden fortresses absolutely everywhere. You get Springwood emplacements on them. That is how you play the late game. Going to be once again looking to clean up this position. Muslim maxed out 200 population. His infrastructure at the moment looking incredibly good. He's got 22 production facilities compared to the 18 of his opponents. So both players looking relatively even, but at the same time, this stone wall on the front line still under attack. But Wham still yet to hit the button. He's sitting on 8,400 gold. Maybe he'll save it up for 9,000. Maybe he wants over 9,000 gold because that's the cool amount of gold to have. But he's continuing to struggle, continuing to make knights, but just really struggling to make ends meet. I would honestly say at this point, Wham could definitely use a little bit of a course in French base building. Give you anxiety as a player that really loves to make a French base look beautiful. Often we see him in the early stages of the game just building all of his buildings at the front of his base. And now Wham finally clicks the button. 8,680 gold has been brought into the cache. Wham, what does he do with this production? Let's watch and wait and see. I just want to see 27 hand cannoneers, 440 arbaletiers, 96 elite royal knights. Come on, Wham, you can do it. And now beginning to push down on the front line. He's still yet to throw anything in the queue. He just took the gold out. He's like, you know what? I'm happy with that gold. That'll do me. Just keep that in there. I'm saving it for a rainy day, fellas. It's going to be A-okay. But Wham now continuing to struggle against his opponent in this position. We see the Culverins teeing off towards the trebuchets on the back line, but he's getting overrun. There's just not enough units here for him. And at the same time, we see the units beginning to flood in from the base of Muslim. Muslim looking incredibly strong in this position. More trebuchets beginning to unfold, but now the Streltsy moving up onto the front line. They forget for a second that they're ranged, and all of a sudden go in for a bit of a ranged kiss, and Streltsy just overwhelming the archers of his opponent, and Wham going to be falling back towards this position. He's got no reinforcements coming in, keep that in mind. Finally, all of a sudden, he's queued up 17 Royal Knights, and he taps out. Good game. Wham says goodbye, my friends. The gold just wasn't enough, and game one goes over to our one and only Liquid Muslim. Very well played there from Muslim. You got to say that it really just came down to the control that he had in the late game. He was looking very good, had a great understanding of what his win condition was in the late game, and he played to it. By the same token, I feel like Wham made a couple of big mistakes. Number one, where the gold at? Where the gold at? Where the guild hall at, my friend? That was the big question of the day. I mean, you eventually took out all that gold, but you died immediately after it. So had you taken out that gold you know, like right here, maybe you would have been able to actually sustain your military count. But thank you, game. You would have been able to sustain that military count. But we have a look at the villager count here. Very even throughout the game. Wham just being consistently a high achiever. And Muslim doing a great job as well. But yeah, very well played. Let's take a look. I want to see the most interesting statistic. I love to see it. It is going to be our average villager idle time. 32 seconds going over to Muslim. Very well played compared to 1 minute and 2 seconds by his opponent. So fellas, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you guys have enjoyed this casted game. And be sure to catch the next video up on the channel. It's going to be the second game in the series between these two legends.